If I wanted to start losing weight today, the first thing I'd do wouldn't be cleaning out my fridge, but getting my evenings in order, because it's in the evening hours that the majority of people unintentionally sabotage their own weight loss. And no, it's not about not eating after 6 or having to drink or eat dairy products before bed. It's actually much more interesting than that. In this video, we'll go over 5 evening habits that really help you lose weight, improve your sleep, and make your body stop constantly craving sweets. Be sure to watch until the end, because at the end I'll break down the most popular myths about what people do before bed. So the first habit that can radically change your weight loss journey has to do with caffeine. A lot of people are convinced that if a drink has no sugar and no calories, it means you can drink it whenever you want. But this is one of the most common mistakes. Coffee, green tea, energy drinks, and even Coke Zero don't have calories, but they do contain caffeine. And it's actually caffeine that often becomes the reason why people have trouble falling asleep or end up sleeping lightly. Why is this even connected to being overweight? Imagine someone who seems to eat right, goes to the gym, watches their diet, but their weight just won't budge. We actually had a woman like that come to see us. We started to take a closer look at her lifestyle and noticed 2 things. First, she drank coffee, green tea, and caffeinated sodas almost every evening. Second, she went to bed at a different time every day. It might seem like these are little things, but they were exactly what was keeping her from losing weight. When you don't sleep well, your brain doesn't have time to recover. The next day, it starts looking for the quickest source of energy. And what does the body consider the easiest energy source? Of course, sweets. That's why after a sleepless night, you crave chocolate, cookies, pastries, and all kinds of high-calorie foods even more. It's not a lack of willpower, it's your brain trying to make up for the lack of rest. So the first rule is very simple. It's best to stop drinking any caffeinated beverages at least 6 hours before bedtime. If you're especially sensitive to caffeine, then even 8 or 10 hours before bed. After lunch, it's better to switch to plain water or caffeine-free drinks. This simple change alone can noticeably improve your sleep quality. The second mistake, which is just as common, is the habit of going to bed at a different time every day. Today at 10 in the evening, tomorrow at 1 in the morning, and the day after tomorrow, not until after 2. It seems like your body will get used to it. Imagine flying across several time zones. After that, most people feel weak, sleepy, and worn out. When you change your sleep time by 2 or 3 hours every day, your body experiences pretty much the same thing. It just doesn't know when it's supposed to recover, and poor sleep almost always leads to an increased appetite the next day. That's why it's best to go to bed at about the same time every night. A difference of about an hour and a half at most is acceptable. You shouldn't try to catch up on sleep only on weekends. It's much healthier when your schedule stays consistent throughout the whole week. That's exactly what happened with that woman I mentioned. We barely changed her diet during the first week. We just cut out evening caffeine and made her bedtime consistent. And only after that did her weight finally start to go down. Sometimes all it takes is finding just one habit that's holding back your entire weight loss process. It's like a tiny screw in a machine. Change it and the whole system starts working properly. And that's just the beginning. Because even if you sleep 8 hours, that doesn't necessarily mean your sleep is actually helping you lose weight. Now comes the most interesting part. A lot of people think the main thing is just to sleep for a long time. But in reality, when it comes to losing weight, the quality of your sleep is much more important than the quantity. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up feeling completely exhausted. Or you can sleep for 7.5 hours and feel great. Why does that happen? It's all because deep sleep and light sleep have completely different effects on your body's recovery. And here, what you do in the evening plays a huge role. So it's best to finish your last meal about 3 hours before going to bed. If you go to bed at midnight, your last meal should be around 9 in the evening. That way, your body doesn't have to digest food and recover at the same time. Your sleep becomes deeper and you feel much more refreshed in the morning. The next rule is about phones. A lot of people get into bed and start scrolling through videos until they literally fall asleep with their phone in hand. The problem is that your brain isn't resting at all during this time. Every few seconds, it has to make a new decision. watch the next video, switch to another one, reply to a message, or keep scrolling. Plus, the bright screen suppresses the production of melatonin, which helps your body fall asleep. That's why the ideal option is to put your phone away at least an hour before bed. If it's still too hard to give it up completely, at least turn on warm screen mode or a blue light filter. It's also better to keep the lighting dim in the evening, and instead of endlessly scrolling through news feeds, you can read a regular book. Another useful habit that people rarely talk about is bedtime rituals. Our brain really likes repetitive actions. If you do the same thing every night before bed, your body starts to recognize in advance that it's almost time to rest. This could be a hot shower, a short walk, reading a book, any calm ritual that you repeat every day. Over time, just starting this ritual will be enough for your body to begin preparing itself for sleep. It's these simple changes that have helped many of my patients. Some stopped working right in bed, some started taking a hot shower before sleep, and some simply stopped scrolling on their phones late into the night. And after that, people suddenly found that it became much easier to stick to their diet during the day, their constant cravings for sweets disappeared, and they had more energy for walks and workouts. Sometimes sleep is exactly that missing piece, without which weight loss just doesn't move forward. Now, let's break down a few popular myths. You absolutely have to eat egg whites before bed because at night growth hormone is produced, which will burn fat. Of course, that sounds nice, but there's no evidence to support it. The body is constantly producing hormones from the nutrients it has already received throughout the day. There is no mechanism by which the protein you eat right before bed automatically turns into growth hormone and starts burning fat. So there's no point in specifically eating egg whites at night for weight loss. Myth is about fermented dairy products. Many people are convinced that eating yogurt before bed literally helps you lose weight overnight. In reality, yogurt by itself doesn't burn fat. Yes, it's a healthy product. It supports your gut microbiome. Yes, for some people it helps avoid overeating in the evening, but if you just add it to your regular diet without changing anything else, nothing will happen. Your weight won't start going down. Weight loss only ever happens when there's a calorie deficit. And finally, the myth about eating fruit in the evening. You often hear that after 6 p.m., fruit immediately turns into fat. But the body doesn't work like that at all. What matters to it isn't the time you eat an apple or an orange, but your total calorie intake for the day. If you stay within your calorie limit, eating fruit in the evening won't get in the way of losing weight. The only real restriction you should keep in mind is not to eat right before going to bed. Not because fruit will turn into fat, but because any late night meal can worsen your sleep quality. So the main takeaway is very simple. If you want to lose weight faster, stop looking for a magic food you can eat before bed. No yogurt, egg whites, or special fruits can replace good sleep, a consistent routine, and a balanced diet. These are the habits that work over months and years, which means they're the ones that help you lose weight without constant setbacks and regaining the weight. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.